I don't know exactly what we just watched on this fine Saturday evening, but that was not good football. But hey, all that matters is the Bengals won, and the Chargers have a legitimate chance at grabbing that 5 seed. So let's take care of business tomorrow and go from there. But I do want to talk about the game today just because these are two teams that could potentially be in the playoffs. The Bengals are a very hot topic of conversation right now, and then the Steelers are a lock to make the playoffs. So I would like to talk about what I saw out there because neither of those teams looked especially formidable, I'll say, today. Joe Burrow looked like the stud that Joe Burrow is on half the plays. Half the plays, I didn't really understand what was going on. Don't understand the throw he threw on that interception. A couple other missed throws that the receivers really just made incredible plays on to grab. Yoshi specifically had one. That catch by T. Higgins in the middle of the field was crazy. I'm not going to say that was really a miss by Burrow by any means, but T. Higgins, I forget how big he is. Sucks that he got hurt, but in that second quarter, he looked unguardable. He was open on every single play. First quarter belonged to Jamar Chase. Second quarter belonged to T. Higgins as far as actually watching their routes and separation. So both a couple of studs. I really hope T's okay. I don't want to see him get hurt going into free agency. That would really suck. He's going to get his bag regardless, but definitely doesn't alleviate any concerns for me as a Chargers fan who would love to sign T. Higgins to see him continue to carry that injury-prone tag. That's not going anywhere anytime soon. So fingers crossed that it's something minor and it's no big deal. But man, both those weapons are studs. Other than that, yeah, I mean, the offensive line by the Bengals is absolutely horrible. It's a very bunch of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type of thing. Sometimes they'll really hold up well, and then other times they're just Swiss cheese letting the Steelers front right through. Steelers, on the other hand, they threw away the game. I don't know what they were doing. I don't know why Russ ran headfirst into a couple of defenders to pick up an extra 3 yards instead of getting out of bounds or throwing it away. There was some just sloppy football being played across the board. The wide receivers on the Steelers looked absolutely terrible. The corners were getting kind of picked apart. Obviously, Pickens dropped a bunch, but the corners were getting picked apart by the Steelers too. I don't know. I don't see them keeping anything competitive in the playoffs. So we'll see. The Steelers seem to do this a lot lately. Come out really hot to start the year, win most of the first 10 games, and then fall apart on the back half. Same thing this year. Lost their final 4 games. Just really rough. Really rough. And I think it might actually put Tomlin on the hot seat. He shouldn't be. He's one of the best coaches of our generation. But that conversation is going to start soon. So just a weird game with so much at stake. You really think they would bring their A game, and it did not feel like I was seeing anybody's A game on the field tonight. But back to the Chargers. We're here. We just gotta win this week, and we get the Texans. And I do want to talk about that just because everybody's been talking about the Texans like they're a walk in the park. They're not. Talked about this on the last video. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. But defensively, I think that we match up better against the Texans just because, and defensively, I mean against their defense, because the Ravens have Marlon Humphrey. I think they can really limit what Justin Herbert can do. Whereas we can have a little bit more creativity against the Texans, but also most importantly, their offense right now is not electric. And so we can actually slow them down on offense and keep ourselves in a tight game here. And then we can kind of see where we go from there. But we have a legitimate chance to avoid, we've already avoided the Bills, but a legitimate chance to also avoid the Ravens going into this first round. Knock on wood that everybody stays healthy after tomorrow's game, and then we can roll into this Texans game as healthy as we can be. Doesn't look like Gus or Palmer will be back by then, but we'll see how things shake out. But regardless, I think even not at our full strength, we have a good chance of beating the Texans and getting a wild card win, and most importantly, getting Justin Herbert his first playoff win. But it all comes down to tomorrow. I guess by the time you see this, it comes down to today. So just win, baby. Just win. Go Bolts. If you liked this video, please give me a follow on Twitter or X at Erdman Chargers, shown on the graphic here, or subscribe to my YouTube channel at Nature's Calls Pod.